So let's go on a summertime walk together. I had a request to walk through the neighborhood in the summertime, and here comes somebody. His name's Harley, and he will come right to the fence to get pet. He's got a skull and crossbones collar. A lot of people stop to pet him in the neighborhood. And now we'll go down the street that's next to Harley Street. And there's a little squirrel there. He's burying something. Probably an acorn. I think this is before the weather got very hot, which this week, it's been very hot here by the time I post this. So August 26th, 27th, and 28th. It's been very hot in Michigan, but I remember these days it wasn't so bad. This is one of the houses in my neighborhood that has a naturalized front yard. There's a few, like a no-mow yard, and then next to it, you have somebody that has very nice grass, and that looks like a very nice lawn too. There are at least 4 houses that I walk by all the time that have a naturalized front yard. And then you have to keep that boulevard part in the front there between the sidewalk next to the street. You have to keep that grass because that's technically city property. Isn't that a pretty house? I have decided to try with our own grass to return to a clover lawn. I know that the gentleman that owned my house, we used to plant clover. The gentleman that lived in my house for like 40 years, maybe 50 years. No, he lived in my house for about 40 years. It was built in 1950, and he would plant clover. Clover stays green. There's a big patch of pretty flowers in that backyard. Oh, it wasn't even started. Oh, I'm over by the school addition that they built. All the construction. And this is the park near my house. And you might hear the people in the pool in the background. I think that there's a loud speaker. There's been a lot of construction all over the place near my house. That is the church that I live near. And there are soccer fields next to it. And they've built some baseball fields in the park with fences and big scoreboards. There used to be just 4 baseball diamonds, but they've really built it up. There's the convent. I think I filmed that shot right there quite a lot. It was pretty busy and noisy, and I decided to go into the neighborhood and get maybe more into the shade. This is a very common route for me to take. Up ahead is the patch of lawn on one of the houses where that white car is behind it, where they have milkweed. They've dug up the whole city property area and planted milkweed plants. And I walk by them all the time, and it's interesting to see all the different stages of the plant. Oh, there's one of the, they were pods that day. It's always changing. Walk down this street. And we will go check on my favorite house. It's not my favorite house, but we will go check on the Castle House this video, which has been for sale, but I have some news. It's sold. I don't really know when we get to it in the video. But I was walking by it one day, as I do most days, and I heard some people in the pool. So I had a suspicion that maybe somebody had bought it. And sure enough, they did. I don't know if they moved in or not. So here we come up on the Castle House. It's over there on the right. That's the back of it. And the people that live behind it, this is such a pretty little stretch of flowers that they have. There's my shadow as I'm trouncing along. And they always have such pretty roses. So let's go check on the Castle House. Rose of Sharon everywhere in the neighborhood, everywhere. There's that pool back there. I'm glad it's sold. And there it is. I wonder what will stay the same and what will stay different with it. It's an iconic feature of our neighborhood. It'll be interesting to see. It looks like somebody left a ball laying out. It's a very nice street. It is definitely the grandest house on that street, but there are some larger houses for this neighborhood on that block. One in particular, because a house had to get torn down because of mold or something. I don't really remember. That's the story I heard. And they built a huge new home that I didn't walk by this walk. It might even be bigger than the castle. I don't know. Sorry, it was garbage day on one of these walks, so we'll have to look at garbage. This ranch house that looks over the park, they've done a lot of work to that house. They've added a huge porch. This is a different house. This is a corner house. This lady feeds the squirrels. And then when I started walking down this street, I noticed that there was a motorcycle that somebody had parked. So I had to make a plan to walk around it. Whenever I have to walk around a motorcycle, I think of Pee Wee Herman in his movie when he knocks down all the motorcycles at, I think he's at a bar, and I think it's Pee Wee's Big Adventure, if you've ever seen that movie. I want to make sure that I respect their property and get away from the motorcycle so I don't knock it over. Not that white Cape Cod house, but the next white house I remember was for sale around the time we bought our house. And it's changed hands a couple times. And currently, no, it was starting. There's the dumpster. They're doing major construction on that thing. I wonder what it'll look like. Oh, a little cozy coop. A little cozy coop. Car. There's usually lots of kids out playing, but I think it was around dinner time when I was walking. The clouds seemed so ominous that day. One side of the sky was perfectly blue. I think I look up eventually. I think. Yes. Blue sky, and then that. I don't think it started raining, but whenever I see that movie, I try to hightail it home. Just think all of these trees will be turning color soon. Most of them anyway. And then we can make a fall video. And now we ended up at the park. And there is the hill there that kids sled down when it snows. And the pool is way off in the distance there. Structures and a basketball court there are usually kids there. And then we have some abstract art that some kids drew with their chalk, budding artists. And then on our way home on the track, we get a good view of one of the new baseball diamonds. I know people were very excited to have real fences, and they put up a bunch of lighting. So it will be interesting to see when the leaves really start turning. I know there are many factors that go into the timing of that. But we will definitely take a look at some leaves soon before they fall to the ground. I'll try to hit it right when they're turning very pretty colors, but it's definitely all green now. We've had a lot of rain here. In Michigan, too, everything has stayed very green, and the flowers have loved the combination of heat and water. There's the flagpole in front of the school.